Good morning to you all. I would like you to stop talking around the coffee. And we're going to have a new session this morning. We're talking about the common good. So we have coffee with the mayor. So we are welcoming Mr. Moudenc as mayor of Toulouse. We are very pleased to have him and to dive into the topic. And at 9 o'clock, Carlos Tavares will talk about mobility. But I'd like Mr. Mayor to get started with this particular title of the interview you gave to the interview with Challenge and La Dépêche. We hope to have more Toulouse city dwellers to leave their cars. So, well, good morning, everybody. I'll try to be quite synthetic. It's not possible for me to tackle this particular topic without setting the stage, because over the last 25 years, the conurbation of Toulouse is in France, the one which has developed most. It has created something like 150,000 jobs. So the attractiveness of Toulouse is quite considerable. We have a young population, so the difference between deaths and fatalities and births is quite good, and we're the fourth city in France in terms of populations. And since the beginning of the century, we have been increasing a lot in terms of populations. And if we look at the urban population, it's about 1,400,000 city dwellers, and it's about 40% of the demographic progression for the Occitania region. So this is the stage we have, and this is our mobility policy, which is one of the most ambitious in France. It's quite normal that it should be like that, because over the last years, a number of achievements have been done. We have 2 metro lines. Some years ago, we doubled our capability in terms of first line. And then we also extended the tram, which we had previously. So in order to serve the MIT, which is the major exhibition hall for major conventions and conferences, that it opened in 2020. And about 6 months ago, we launched a major project, which is the 3rd metro line, which today, following all the Parisian projects for the Greater Express Paris, this is the most important project in France in terms of public transport, because this is an investment of about 3,300,000,000 euros. It will be a 27-kilometer long line, which beyond the metropolis is going to serve. We want to employments we want to target journeys or trips where there's the most traffic jams, where there's most pollution going on, where the traffic jams and the trips would be, of course, from home to the work. So this is why the line has been thought out very cleverly in order to impact as much as we can these 2 factors. So by the end of 2028, because with such a long line, 27 kilometers, it cannot be constructed very easily. Once we have this infrastructure with the 2 other metro lines, 1 job out of 2 for the Greater Toulouse will be served directly using the metro. And we know that the metro is the most efficient, the most attractive means of transport in order to allow all the car drivers to move towards the public transport. So I think this is the major project. And in parallel, we have another project which is a bit smaller, but this is important as well in terms of the intercommunality of the metropolis, which for the southeast of the conurbation. And this is the extension of Line B of the metro, which we created in 2007, and this will be effective prior to the Line C, because it should occur in 2027. Now, over the last 10 years, we also have developed what we call the linear buses lines with a very high level of service, according to the way it is called. In this particular sector, we have, as of now, 11 of them. We should have up to 15 of them. And when we have this type of bus running, the frequency is very high, and we have schedules that are extremely extended as well. And we have very good results. And relative to the previous bus lines, we are saving something like 30 or 40% in terms of passengers. And also we have the biking policy. Now, the turn was the COVID pandemic between 2016 and 21. And as the President of the Mobility will underline, we have an increase of 77% of the traffic of bikes around Toulouse. And at the start of this new mandate, 21-26, we have invested, and we have doubled our investments, and so that we are going to structure a network of about 14 different paths that are going to irrigate not only the metropolis, but also the other communes around Toulouse. This is a network which should enable us to have the express bike project, and to give some perspectives that are very secure for the bikers, with a continuation which is not the most efficient characteristics of the network as it is right now. So we'll have 14 strategic lines or paths, for bikes, allowing to have a link between the core of the conurbation and the periphery and suburbs. And there will be another project next year into that 2024, which is the renewal of the bike service. Because in 2017, when I created the Vélo Toulouse, or the Bike for Toulouse, where all the bikes are made available to the bikers and to the visitors of Toulouse. And now we are increasing by 50% the number of stations in order to have a better meshing in order to serve other areas within Toulouse that were not yet irrigated when we launched this particular service, which is now more than 15 years ago. And in parallel to that, we're going to make sure that in 2024, half of all the bikes of this renewed service and extended service will be provided by electric bikes. We know that this is going to bring in a population which today is not using it. So all these topics enable us to ensure that we will decrease the use of individual cars, even if the growth, the demographic growth, is such that even if we are investing in bikes and public transports and pedestrians paths and all that, it's a race forward, because in terms of percentage, the increase, the population increase, as well as the greater frequency of alternative means of transport, is not homogeneous, because we haven't got all the results that we would have expected. Now, in terms of bikes, I can say that because I was a visitor yesterday, and I was happy to come on bike here, and all the bikes are running properly, and we'll be very pleased to see that it's even better than Paris in terms of electric bikes. So congratulations, Mr. Mayor, and we're going to move directly to this second phase in terms of mobility for the long term, because you talked about a program which is fairly close. Now, I'd like you to just sit over there, and we'll have this particular debate between Mr. Christian Gollier, who's the head of the School of Economics, and to Mr. Tavares, and you can be seated over there. Thank you to have a cup of coffee with us this morning, and of course you can come and join us with Garel a bit later. Thank you.